Hi all, I am Michele Vedri and I want to share with you how Excel can be powerful because it allows us to create some optimizing tools, for instance for the transportation as in this example, or to find the best sequence in the jobs for a specific bottleneck in the manufacturing area or the product mix in SOP model and so on and so on. But let's take a look to this specific case. I downloaded from SAP the deliveries for a certain day, in this case 10th of February, and then I replaced, of course, all the names of the cities and the vendors with the fictitious ones, but I left the prices and then the total cost of each delivery. And for this day, the total um, cost of the transportation was about 56,000 more or less. Okay. Now, what I did is in this Excel file, first of all, I installed an add-in that is all this part related to the solver. That is some functionalities that can help us to create a such tool. Then I copied here all the deliveries treated in the real case. So also here are more or less 200. Then the zone, the duration that was also uploaded in this file. In fact, in the sheet vendor price, we have, of course, the combination of city vendor and the price per unit. Okay, and for each couple we have also, but this time to arrive at destination, this duration, let me say, is related to the city. Once we have this configured, that is for each kind of delivery, then we can make every calculation we want. We have here in the columns all the vendors and the number of trucks that they can use for our purposes, and then some other calculations. Okay, just an average of the duration, just an average of the wasting time, time to download the goods, and so on. All is taken into consideration. And we have some contracts that are the maximum number of trucks that we can have per each vendor. Once done this, I created two macros because we can optimize through the priority that we can see here. In this case, I just used the two priorities, 2 and 1. 2 is the higher, so first is optimized the group of deliveries that belongs to group priority 2, and then I optimized the rest of the deliveries, taking the first ones as a constant without changing the first result. Of course, this is an additional constraint that can reduce the efficiency, but let's see what happened. Because of course I considered also an optimization without considering all these constraints, just to have a benchmark, because this represents the best solution with a lower number of constraints. But let's check what happened in most real case, most similar to the real case. So I executed the optimization through the priority, and as you can see, we have two groups. So it has optimized now the first group, 12,000, and now it's trying to optimize the second group. So the total optimization has a cost of 42,000. As you can see, is quite lower than 56,000. And in the sheet result, we have, of course, all the combination with each delivery and, of course, its own data that is not depending on the optimization, but with a vendor that has been assigned by the tool that is most commonly different from the one you used in the real case, and this of course has a total cost as shown previously that is much lower because it's 42,000. This tool can be used on a daily basis, but of course it can be improved. We can add additional constraints because at the moment it is quite easy. It has some constraints, but of course the number can be increased, and it can be also considered a different number of deliveries, not just 200, but thousands. It does not change anything. And also consider, of course, in medium or long term, the date as a variable of this. And that's all. I hope that you found interesting this example of how Excel can be used for optimization purposes.